Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader between the Utica Unicorns and the Westside Woolly Mammoths. My name is Rich Borland, and I will be on the broadcast solo this evening, wishing best to my broadcasting partner, Leo Ortel, who will be back in the booth tomorrow night after losing his grandfather earlier this past week. In Game 1, the Mammoths offense struck for 9 runs on 9 singles and 2 doubles earlier this afternoon. They provided thousands of kids in attendance a fun show, as it was our annual Kids Day game this morning. Ethan Whisker led the charge for Westside with a 3-for-4 day with a double, 2 singles, and count them 4 RBIs to his credit. As we turn the page over into tonight's battle, it is another Thirsty Thursday, but it's also Comic-Con night at Jimmy John's Field. The Unicorns look to get even after being routed in the contest this afternoon 9-3. Mentioned, of course, it's Comic-Con night. The Westside Woolly Mammoths will be supporting their Spider-Man specialty jerseys. I'll talk a little bit more about those, as you can also bid on them online, and half the proceeds will go to an organization, but we'll talk more about that as the game goes on. Going into the matchup, these two teams in their last 15 matchups, Westside, themselves have won 11 of their last 15 games with 108 runs as a part of the month of mayhem for the Mammoths. On the other end, things have been tough for the Unicorns ever since the College Senior Showcase. In their last 15 games, they are 4-11, the polar opposite of Westside. Compared to the Mammoths' 108 runs in that span, Utica has just 56 runs of support. Head-to-head, though, this summer, it has been a tale of two ends for most part between these two teams. Utica started off 4-0 versus Westside, but then the Mammoths since then have won 5 out of the last 6 versus Utica. In total, the Mammoths have outscored the Unicorns head-to-head this year by a score of 60-40 in 2019. As for the two men on the mound tonight, we will see the Framingham, Massachusetts native and UMass Dartmouth alum Matt Cronin take on the former 2012 New York Yankees first-round draft pick in Ty Hensley, who will be pitching on just 3 days of rest. Cronin was the most recent USPBL Player of the Week when he earned the first win of the season for himself on Saturday night, throwing 6 1/3 innings pitched, allowing 1 earned run while he struck out 4 as he held the Eastside Diamond Hoppers scoreless through the first 6 innings before allowing only 1 run in the 7th. So far this season, Cronin has thrown 23 1/3 innings pitched, striking out 16, and has a 3.09 earned run average for Westside. Overall, he's allowed the 8 earned runs, just the 6 walks to the 16 strikeouts. Batters hitting just .244 against him, and he's got the 5th best whip in the league at 1.157. Meanwhile, Ty Hensley, he is coming off of his best outing on the season with just 1 earned run over 5 2/3 innings pitched against these same Mammoths. It was marvelous to see him succeed, knowing the type of stuff he has out of that arm of his in his arsenal. He did allow 6 walks in the process, which probably took him out of contention for the W, but in the end it was Erik Jones who hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning to put the Corns up 4-1 against these Westside Woolly Mammoths back on Sunday. Westside came back with 2 runs in the home half of the 9th, but in the end, Sam Cottingham-Beard would shut the door and get the victory in the last time that these two teams met. But the 15-14 Unicorns taking on the 14-15 Westside Woolly Mammoths, these two teams on the polar opposite ends of the spectrum. In the last 15 games mentioned, Utica 4-11, Westside 11-4 in that time span, and the Mammoths with 108 runs to the Unicorns just 56 in over the last month or so. But both teams so far this year are hitting .251 as a team exactly. So we'll see how the offense fares tonight against these two starters who have some credible numbers to their name, as Cronin will look to get his 2nd consecutive victory and keep that ERA right around 3. But let's talk about these starting lineups that will go up against these starting pitchers tonight. Starting with the visiting Utica Unicorns, it'll be Coley Curry, who was 2 for 4 in the game earlier this morning. He had a single and 2 runs scored as well as a double. Erik Jones is batting second. He's currently got a 6-game hitting streak through his first 6 games in the USPBL. Dan Elliott doing the honors of batting third, playing center field tonight. Jimmy Latona is doing the catching this evening, as he was the designated hitter early on in this one in the first game of the doubleheader. And then Colin Rideout is batting 5th at first base this evening. He has a 5-game hitting streak and was 2 for 4 with 2 singles and drove in every single run for Utica in that 9-3 loss early on today. Joe Campagna, he's batting 6th, playing third base tonight. As Kyle Bonneke, who did not play in the game earlier on this morning, it'll be him batting 7th and playing at second base. Josh Goulet, the right fielder, he's batting 8th. He also did not play in the game this morning. And then it'll be Malik Blaze, one of the newcomers, in the 9th spot. He's at shortstop this evening for Adrian Guzman. Blaze batted in the 8th spot in the game earlier on this morning, but went 0 for 2, but did reach base safely on a hit by pitch. On the other end for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, managed by Brian Kluppy, it'll be Ryan Dobson, the shortstop, getting things started at the top of the order. He has an 11-game on-base streak, and he's also creeped up into second in the league with 35 hits. Batting second, Sonny Cortez, the center fielder. We'll talk about his offensive accolades throughout the rest of the night, as he has been on an absolute tear in 2019 with the most hits, the most runs scored, and tied for first with the most RBIs. A man who has just been an incredible player with that .351 batting average. Oh, yes, of course, also first in the league. Will Johnson, the left fielder, he's batting third. He's got a 12-game on-base streak. Jake Polshin, meanwhile, he's batting in the cleanup spot, playing first. He's got a 16-game on-base streak on the line tonight. Jake Barbie, he did not play in the game this morning as he is doing the catching this evening. He's batting 5th. Ethan Whisker, who had a tremendous day with that 3-for-4 outing with a double, 2 singles, and 4 RBIs. He's batting 6th, and as is the DH tonight. Javon Shelby did not get the start in the game at 11:05 this morning, but he is getting the nod and batting 7th, playing right field tonight. And then batting 8th, Webb Little, another one of the new faces for Westside. He's playing third base this evening and batting 8th. He was 0 for 1 with an RBI sac fly, a walk, and a strikeout, alongside a run scored in the first game today as a part of the 9-3 victory. And then Brandt Broussard, who was batting 7th overall in that first game, went 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. He's moved down into the 9th spot, and he is playing second base this evening. So we've gotten through the starting lineups, both up here in the booth and down on the field, which means it's time for the national anthem. And then when we come back, we will have first pitch here from Jimmy John's Field on this gorgeous Thirsty Thursday and Comic-Con night from Jimmy John's Field. Once again, Rich Borland with you. Excited to call this one solo tonight as the Unicorns and Mammoths are all ready for action. Let's head down to the field for our nation's anthem. How about that tremendous rendition of our nation's anthem as the Star-Spangled Banner is all said and done? That means it's time for baseball as the Westside Woolly Mammoths and Utica Unicorns are getting ready for their second baseball game of today, as they had taken each other on earlier on this morning into the afternoon as they had a non-public game between each other, but it was also our Kids Day game as there was about over 2,000 kids in attendance from the local Parks and Rec and YMCAs in the area as it was the Westside Woolly Mammoths who really put on a show. It was the Ethan Whisker show, if you will, with that 3-for-4 outing, a double, 2 singles, and he drove in 4 RBIs on the day, and he has been tremendous over the start of the second half for Westside, really taking the charge. As I mentioned, Westside 11-4 in their last 15 games with 108 runs scored at the moment between them and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, the toughest teams to beat. And part of that reasoning is because of the man on the mound. It's the reigning United Shore Professional Baseball League Player of the Week, and that, of course, is Matt Cronin. Matt Cronin, a tremendous right-hander who's got a slider that's better than most in this entire league, as he throws that pitch about 50% of the time. He's got both fastballs, the 4-seam and the 2-seam, that he'll throw about a quarter of the time each. And then once in a very, very blue moon, once in a solar eclipse, if you will, he throws a changeup about 2% of the time. So we will see how he fares tonight against the Westside Woolly Mammoths, against the Utica Unicorns, as he has one outing against them so far this year. And for those that can recall, it was a good one of the best games that we saw out of any starting pitcher in the 2019 USPBL season. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? He went 7 innings, allowed just 3 hits, no runs, just the 1 walk, and had 4 strikeouts. Matt Cronin has just 16 strikeouts in 4 games, averaging 4 per start, but a guy who does not succeed via the strikeout. He pitches to contact weekly, and he ends up getting a lot of batters out via that slider, which is very devastating, and you'll see it here time and time again tonight. So Matt Cronin getting things going. That fastball misses upstairs as the first pitch of the night. 87 degrees. We're a minute ahead of schedule, which is never a bad thing. 7:04 p.m. on your dial as Coley Curry looks at that backdoor slider for called strike 1. And that's the type of stuff that Matt Cronin's going to deliver tonight. He's got that slider that he can throw in any count, and you see it evident as he throws it on the 1-0 pitch. Comes back with a fastball as it's popped up a mile high right in the middle of the infield. Looks like it's going to be the shortstop, the captain of the infield. That, of course, is Ryan Dobson, who makes the catch on the third pitch of the night. That's exactly what the doctor ordered as Cronin retires the first batter that he faced, as it'll be a tough one here to retire Erik Jones, who's working on that 6-game hitting streak. 11 hits in his first 22 at-bats to start the season, as this young man has been a bright spot in this lineup in that tough 15-game stretch. Mentioned the Unicorns 4-11 in that frame, but Erik Jones trying to turn the page for them as he looks at called strike 1 to begin his night. But Erik Jones, D1 player out of Davidson College, of course, former school of Seth Curry, everybody knows, as Matt Cronin looks like, well, Matt Cronin tonight. Throws the second pitch to Erik Jones, an absolute paint job on the outer half. And I'll tell you right here and now, Erik Jones moving up into this 2 spot. He had started off batting cleanup for Utica in his time, as this ball into right center field. Looks like it's going to be Sonny Cortez underneath it to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down for Matt Cronin, both via the putouts in the air. 1-2 Dobson and 1-2 Cortez in center. We'll make note of the rest of the fielders out there for Westside. Will Johnson in left. Mentioned Cortez out there in center. Javon Shelby doing the honors in right field this evening. Webb Little over at the hot corner. Ryan Dobson, who's now shaded to the right side of second base. The shortstop playing deep into the shift for Westside against a guy who loves to pull the baseball in Dan Elliott. But doesn't matter if you're a pull hitter as long as you hit it where they ain't. And he's been tremendous as of late. A .311 batting average. Good for 7th in the league as the count evens up at 1-1. Dan Elliott, .515 slugging percentage, good for top 5 in the league. And he's also got a top 10 slugging percentage and RBIs as this ball pulled foul down that right field line, which we will see time and time again with the combination of Matt Cronin's slider and the aggressiveness from Elliott. If I'm Matt Cronin, I mean, you throw that backdoor slider, you just have to make sure it's not elevated enough for Elliott to get a good piece of the wood on it, and that's exactly what Cronin does. Throws the slider low, gets the ground ball out of it. A perfect 1-2-3 inning, a pop-out, a fly-out, and a ground-out. Utica, in the first. We head to the home half. Scoreless. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Through a half inning of play, Matt Cronin starts his night off hot, retires the side in order, and Curry, Jones, and Elliott. Not a tough threesome to retire in order, but he does the job, and we'll see what his counterpart, Ty Hensley, can do against the top three for Westside, as it'll be Ryan Dobson, Sonny Cortez, and Will Johnson for Brian Kluppy's team, as Dobson, in that game earlier on this morning, 2 for 3 with 2 singles, a walk, and a run scored, as he has just climbed the ladder offensively, as that batting average up to 308 on the 318 on the season, as he swings through the 0-1 effort, quickly down 0-2. But Ryan Dobson has moved up into second place with 35 hits in the league, top 7 in runs scored with 17 of those, top 10 with an on-base percentage of .377. And he's a guy who loves long at-bats. He is at the top of the order because he gets on base a lot, but he's also got a perfect record on the base pass this year, as he's got a 10 for 10 stature there on the base pass. So Dobson just has to get on in order to get over and then eventually get in. The question is, can he get on here against Hensley, who throws a fastball, misses outside to bring the count to 1-2. Dobson, a perfect explanation of a leadoff hitter, a guy who's got plenty of speed, gets on base fairly often. We'll see if he can do that against Hensley, who had struggled mightily, had an ERA, right around where it was, 7.8 throughout the season, but he's coming off of his best start of the season, and it was against this exact same team. So you would think that Hensley's going to have a good night, as Dobson looks at the 1-2 in the dirt to even it up. Mentioned Dobson, 33 hits in 27 games, 16 runs scored. Doesn't have much power. He's got 3 doubles on the year. Most of his hits have been for singles. But when you get singles and you have 10 stolen bases, they pretty much turn into doubles, as the 2-2 popped up. It's in foul territory, but Colin Rideout underneath it, and he makes the catch with ease. 1 up and 1 down via the pop-out, and that's exactly how both starters get their night started. So here comes Sonny Cortez, who's been tremendous this season, not just with the bat, but also roaming the outfield and center field as the leader in the outfield for Westside. Most hits in the league with 39, most runs scored in the league with 33, tied for first with 23 RBIs on the year, the best batting average at .351. Not sure what else you need out of Sonny Cortez other than maybe a held-back try on that first opportunity off of Ty Hensley, but he could not pull back as he is quickly down 0-1, and that's hopefully a good sign for Ty Hensley. I mentioned he's got 3 different fastballs alongside a curveball. The 4-seam he throws 43% of the time. The 2-seam he throws a quarter of the time. The cutter 13, as well as the curveball, as that fastball misses up and away. You definitely don't want to get behind a batter like Sonny Cortez, because he will take full advantage. Mentioned 39 hits in the league, and taking a quick look, out of those 39 hits, 31 of them have been singles, but a kid who has plenty of opportunity ahead of him, as he was with the Bakersfield Train Robbers in the Pecos League last year, of course, managed by Brian Kluppy, who's now the manager of the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Those two obviously getting a championship, and now trying to do that same thing here for the Woolly Mammoths in the Westside uniforms, as Cortez looks at the 2-1 effort, evens the count up at 2-2. So a good job from Hensley to stay about even in these first 2 appearances, as Cortez looks at the 2-2, look close, but with the size stature of Cortez, would have been a strike to most batters, but Cortez a little bit shorter than the average batter that Ty Hensley will face tonight. So he works the count full. Ty Hensley on full counts this year. He's got 28 strikes, 10 balls, as batters have hit just 2 for 17 against him, but that will be the 11th walk that he has allowed on full count tries so far this year, and Cortez loves to get on base. He's got 10 attempts on the year like Dobson, but he's only got 8 stolen bases. So we'll see how he will fare out there at first base, as it'll be Will Johnson standing in. Johnson with that 12-game on-base streak, looking to continue that here, as he's got a .306 batting average coming into play tonight. Looks at called strike 1 to begin this at-bat. The thing about Will Johnson, He loves to work the count, and he's got a 91% contact rate, which is the best in the league. So a guy who rarely walks and rarely strikes out as he fouls off the 0-1 try out of the hand of Hensley. But taking a quick look, Will Johnson this year has 59 at-bats. He's got just 17 hits. As taking a quick look, he's got 9 RBIs, 2 home runs, but in terms of walks and strikeouts, he's got 6 walks and 9 strikeouts, or 6 walks and 3 strikeouts on the year. So a guy who really loves to put the ball in play is Jimmy Latona on the 0-2 try. Looks as if he might have been able to squeeze that pitch for called strike 3, but it ends up getting out of the leather, and instead Will Johnson stays alive for at least one more pitch. As we'll see what Hensley elects to bring here. Maybe a try for that curveball, but you got Cortez over there on first. He's not going anywhere as that front door breaking ball. Not sure where that missed, but our home plate umpire, Scott Wolendowski, a veteran here at the USPBL, he's got just a little bit better of a sight line, than I do this evening, as good as mine can be. Over there on first is Cortez, looking for his 9th stolen base of the year. We'll see if he tries to go. He stays put. Ground ball, left side, over there to Campagna, over to the second baseman, Bonneke, over to the first baseman, right out, but he gets dragged off of the bag, and Johnson will reach base safely on the fielder's choice as Cortez is retired via the 5-4 putout. As now it'll be Jake Polshan's turn to try and make something happen. Went 1 for 3 in the game earlier on this afternoon, a double with a run scored. Also had a walk to his credit, but did strike out in one of his plate appearances. 15 RBIs on the year for Polshan, 30 hits, which is good for top 9 in the league. But mention that 16-game on-base streak on tap for tonight as he looks at called strike 1. That's a lot better sign for Ty Hensley. On the season, first pitches, he's only got 62 strikes to 65 balls coming into play tonight, but looking a lot sharper in that category this evening. We'll see if that continues on throughout the night as this pitch, fastball, misses away. So Polshan with a good eye there. Not that it was anywhere close, so the count evens up at 1-1. Polshan on the season, count him 29 hits and 24 starts. He's got 15 runs to his credit, like mentioned, but 15 RBIs. He's got 3 home runs so far this year. A very nice compliment in the middle of this order as the 1-1 pitch misses, and it's now 2-1. Polshan, that 330 average, it's good, tied for second in the league, as that 451 on base percentage, good for 4th overall. A complete player up at the plate, and he's not bad defensively either, as the 2-1 fouled off into the protective netting right behind home plate as the count evens up at 2-2. See what Polshan can pull off here with a runner on and 2 outs on the board. Hensley with a little look over to first, but he ends up coming home with it and misses on the outside and in the dirt as well with the curveball. So you missed the curveball on the 2-2 pitch with a runner on and a full count with 2 outs. Would be shocked to see anything other than a fastball here. But you never know. The Menifee, California native Jake Polshan trying to deliver with 2 outs here in the home half of the first. Payoff pitch fouled off over to our right and out of play. So the count remains full as Polshan will do the full count all over again. Mentioned Cortez, who was out at second on the fielder's choice, allowed Will Johnson to get over there to first base. Will Johnson on the season, taking a quick gander at the statistics. Will Johnson is 1 for 1 on the base pass this year. He's going, but so is Jake Polshan with the bat as he fouls off a second consecutive pitch. So we will do it all over again. But I mentioned Hensley on those full counts. He's been tremendous this year. Batter's just 2 for 17 against him when it matters most, and he's thrown 18 more strikes than balls coming into play tonight. But that was not the case when Sonny Cortez reached on the walk. We'll see if Hensley fares better against Polshan. The 3-2. Outside corner, called strike 3 as Polshan can't believe it, but it was definitely close enough. Hensley gets the first strikeout of the evening as we are through an inning of play, scoreless. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. The Rochester, New York native Jimmy Latona, the USPBL home run leader with 7, stands in to start the second frame for Utica as they went down in order in the first. If you're just joining us, welcome back as we head to the second inning. Rich Borland with you. Matt Cronin with just 10 pitches in that first inning of work, and 8 of them were for strikes. See how he fares in the second inning as Latona, free swinging on the 0-1, gets a piece of it, but it's fouled off right behind home plate. Another good pitch there from number 27 tonight, or excuse me, number 21, Matt Cronin, as they are rocking those Spider-Man jerseys as a part of the specialty jerseys. Each team will support one, as this one getting a big piece of Jake Barbie knocks off the helmet, and you can tell he's a little shooken up. Want to make sure that he's all right. Obviously, nothing to mess around with in terms of the concussion protocol, but Jake Barbie's a tough guy and would imagine that he will be just fine. Just give him an extra second. Appreciate the respect there from our home plate umpire, Scott Wolendowski, as he gives the man that's been protecting him all season and tonight a little rest there as Barbie tries to collect his thoughts. As Cronin looking really sharp now with 12 pitches, 10 of them for strikes. He is absolutely on, one of the more accurate pitchers in the league, as Latona ready for the 0-2, and now it's Wolendowski, the home plate umpire, that gets a little piece of the foul ball. As Latona having a good time with the two of them there, as he obviously spends most of his time behind the plate as well. So from his perspective, he clearly understands the frustration that comes along with catching, but they knew that going into their careers. As Latona on the 0-2, looked like he was unable to hold around, and in fact he was. That was an easy call there from the home plate umpire, as Cronin gets his first strikeout of the evening, courtesy of Jimmy Latona. See what Colin Rideout can do. He didn't have any strikeouts in the game earlier on today against Westside in the non-public Kids Day game, but he did have 2 singles, and he drove in every single run for the Unicorns in their 9-3 loss earlier on today against Westside. And how about Matt Cronin? Rideouts enjoying the walk-up music, jamming out, having a good time over to the left side of the batter's box, and Cronin's just sitting there ready to go as he throws the ball inside to Rideout. Nowhere close, but that's the first pitch ball that we've seen from Cronin tonight. He had started off the first 4 batters with a strike, as the 1-0 to Rideout misses low and away. So a good job there from Colin to look at 2 straight. Now you got a good hitters count coming up, and he's got that 5-game hitting streak on the line currently. He's tied for 9th in the league with 30 hits. No better time than right now to try and take advantage on a 2-0. Instead, looks at it, and this one, like the last, missed low. So Cronin's got a bit of work to do here against the first baseman, Colin Rideout. So he gets the 2-seam fastball that he throws 23% of the time for called strike 1, as Rideout could not believe it. But in the end, the at-bat will continue on. Cronin now, there he goes, into the full count, as that pitch on the inside, too far inside for Rideout, as he fouls it off. And now Cronin back into this count as it's rung full. Rideout coming to us from Tennessee Wesleyan University. Played in actually the Western Australian League last summer, as this ball hit high down that right field line. Looks like it's got enough to get out of play, and in fact it does, just by a hair, as it fouls over the wall by just an inch or 2. Could have seen something crazy from Javon Shelby out there in right. Rideout with that open stance, trying to get the first knock of the night for the Corns. Payoff pitch. There's that devastating slider that Cronin goes to 50% of the time, as he gets his second consecutive swing and miss strikeout. That's a very good job so far for Cronin against some of these big-time bats for Utica's lineup, as it'll be Joe Campagna standing in. Campagna in the game earlier on this morning, 1 for 4 with a single and a strikeout. See what he can do in this ball game, as Cronin looking really sharp through the first 5 batters as he throws the fastball in the strike zone, but up and in to Campagna. Really good pitch there, right where you want it. as the Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania native and Slippery Rock University product coming in, as he had a .366 batting average in his senior season, but that's not going to help him here as Cronin, with that slider once again, gets Campagna to look, and then that's perfect stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You can't really describe it. Back-to-back sliders, one in the zone and then one out of it. He is absolutely on tonight as he strikes out this side with 3 swing and miss Ks. We head to the home half of the second, scoreless. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the second, scoreless, as Ty Hensley in there for his second inning of work, but already at 24 pitches through the first 4 batters. It took him a lot to get through it, but he allowed just the 1 walk, as it'll be Jake Barbie, Ethan Whisker, Javon Shelby due up for Westside in this frame. Nice line shot there from Barbie, who did not play in the game earlier on this morning, as he's doing the catching tonight. It's a hard line drive on the second pitch that he sees, as that one right at Kyle Bonneke, the second baseman. And now mentioning that, have not gone over the defensive scheme for Utica tonight. Coley Curry in left, Dan Elliott in center, Josh Goulet out in right, Joe Campagna at the hot corner, Malik Blaze, the newcomer, at shortstop, accompanied by Bonneke at second, Colin Rideout at first, Jimmy Latona behind the dish as a part of the battery alongside Hensley, as this pitch in the dirt misses, nowhere close. Whisker with a tremendous day so far, and talk about a whale of a game. 3 for 4. He was batting in the 5th spot in that non-public game this morning. Double, 2 singles, 4 RBIs. He drove in more runs than the Unicorns did as a team. So Whisker clearly having a good day. We'll see if it continues on into this ball game as he swings through the 1-0 approach. Good pitch there from Hensley, who continues to work as the leg kick, the push, the 1-1. Top of the zone, Whisker underneath it. Timed it well, just did not end up getting the good part of the bat on it, and it goes right into the netting behind home plate. So a good job elevating the fastball for Hensley. Mentioned he was the first-round draft pick of the New York Yankees back in 2012, but he's been through countless injuries, including 2 Tommy Johns. So a guy who definitely understands that the process can be a long and grueling one, but eventually you could make it to the promised land. That's what Hensley's still trying to do as he gets his second strikeout in just 3 batters, as he ended the first inning with a looking K to Polshan, and he gets Whisker 2 big bats via the strikeout, as Javon Shelby, former high school draft pick, stands in now as he's having a little bit of a tough season, leads the league with a 40% strikeout rate, but the thing about Shelby, he's got a lot of pop in that bat, does have 3 home runs on the year, he's batting just over 200, as when he does connect, the ball does go far, as he looks at ball 1, just a little bit low and a little away. Pardon the crack there, as mentioned Shelby, a former draft pick out of high school, as this pitch does get enough of the zone, called strike 1. Shelby out of Lexington, Kentucky, was drafted by the Oakland Athletics Organization, played with the Beloit Snappers in 2017 and 2018. He was taken in the 5th round by the Oakland A's in 2016. Came to us out of the University of Kentucky. That's, of course, a very accredited school. In 2016, he only batted .212, though, with 12 home runs and 35 RBIs. Then he was drafted again, or excuse me, let's take that back. He was drafted initially in the 27th round out of high school by the Brewers, but then again drafted in the 5th round in 2016 by the A's, as he's here with Westside, as the 2-1 pitch swung on and missed. That's a fastball on the outside part of the plate. Perfect pitch from Hensley, as he's trying to end an inning with a strikeout as he had the first. We'll see if he gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the second, as the 2-2 coming home. Fastball outside corner, called strike 3. Back-to-back innings for Hensley with called strikeouts to end it, as we are scoreless through 2 innings of play. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the 3rd inning. A ground ball right back up the middle. Ricochets off of Cronin's glove and right over to Brandt Broussard at the second base position. Gets the first out of the inning. And I'll tell you what, that ball hit very hard off the bat of Kyle Bonneke, who hits a contact percentage of 89%, which is good for second in the league, but the batting average is nowhere near where Bonneke wants it to be, and that's kind of the perfect example of how things have gone for him. He hits the ball hard, just unfortunately at fielders more than anybody, as the 1-3 put out, or excuse me, the 1-4-3 put out. Let's try that again. Of course, got to get the ricochet off of Cronin's mitt, but in the end, the comebacker turns into out number one. Second ground out of the day, fielded by Broussard, as Josh Goulet stands in, looks at the second pitch of the at-bat, misses inside, even the count up at 1-1, but Cronin with 23 pitches through 2 innings of work already has the 3 strikeouts, as he struck out the side all via the swing and the miss in the second, as this pitch nowhere close, as the count now goes to 2-1. But Josh Goulet standing in, batting below 100 on the season, so he obviously has some work to do up at the plate. We'll see what he can do in this try against the right-hander Cronin. Goulet out of Nausea, New Hampshire, played with Plymouth State, Division III school. In 2019, he batted .410 with 13 homers, had a .492 on base percentage with 47 RBIs, just 19 strikeouts in the season, as he also had 24 stolen bases, so a guy who's got some speed to his name. He batted .310 over the course of 4 years at Division III, as the 2-2 pitch fouled off and out of play. So doing a good job, Goulet trying to stay alive in this at-bat, but Cronin, meanwhile, looking for his 4th strikeout of the game. And I mentioned Cronin, more of a pitcher who pitches to contact. So he was the USPBL Player of the Week last week, as this ball flared over to the right, but it's going to end up getting out of play. So another pitch from Cronin in this at-bat, already count him 6 against Goulet. So no matter what happens for Josh, he's got a good plate appearance coming up here. The 2-2 looked to be that occasional changeup that Cronin likes to go to. I'm assuming he only throws it to righties. And, of course, in maybe a count where it would make sense, like right there, but another foul ball off the bat of Goulet. Continuing to fight here in this battle. Wind blowing out to left field. Goulet's got 1 home run on the year. It was out to left. Is this ball back up the middle? The shortstop, Dobson, on the run with the throw and the bang-bang play. Good enough for the putout. Everything had to go right there for the shortstop, and he makes the play look a lot easier than it was, as back-to-back groundouts retire Bonneke and Goulet, as it'll be Malik Blaze coming up in just his 2nd game with these Unicorns. Batted 8th in the game earlier on this afternoon. Did go 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, but a guy who we're excited to have join the league, as the Unicorns middle infielder looks at the first pitch, called strike 1 out of the hand of Cronin. Blaze coming to us from Moreau, Louisiana. Played at Southern University, of course, a D1 school down south. As this ball taken to the opposite field, it's going to end up getting out of play over there near where JJ's kennel is. Of course, JJ, the field general. Malik Blaze quickly down 0-2 after looking at a fastball on the outside part of the plate and then fouling off the 0-1. I'd be shocked to see anything other than a slider away here from Cronin. We'll see what he delivers. And there it is, but it misses upstairs. Good eye there from Blaze to stay alive. Not too incredible numbers for the right-hander out of Southern University. In 3 years, he had just a .198 batting average, 52 hits in 91 games, as the slider gets enough of the outside part of the plate. And another 1-2-3 inning as Cronin looking perfect through the first 3 innings of play. We head to the home half. We're scoreless. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 2.5 innings of play. Rich Borland back with you. It'll be Webb Little, Brandt Broussard, and Ryan Dobson, the 8-9 one-hitters, due up against the former 2012 Yankees first-round draft pick, Ty Hensley. 35 pitches through 2 innings of work, and yet he's allowed to give up a hit. So kind of how the last little week or two has gone for Hensley. He's able to battle through the competition. His biggest opponent at the moment is himself, as in the last outing, it was on July the 14th, just on Sunday. So he's on 3 days rest, meanwhile, everybody, and he's pitching fairly well, as he's got Little down 0-2. In the game on Sunday against these same Woolly Mammoths, he went 5 2/3, allowed just 1 earned run on 4 hits, had 4 strikeouts, but the Achilles heel, he had 6 walks spread throughout the game. In the end, he only gave up the 1 earned run, and unfortunately, he did not get the victory. His team was not able to get enough run support for him when he exited the game. They ended up getting the victory, as Sam Cottingham-Beard through the last 3 1/3 ended up getting the win out of that one. But really happy to see Ty Hensley pitch well, and we're hoping that that continues on throughout the rest of this game and the season, as the 0-2 pitch, absolutely devastating breaking ball, broke so much it went off the bat and right onto the leg of Webb Little. And I'll tell you what, Ty Hensley looking really sharp. The thing about it, he's got 35 pitches coming into this 3rd inning, but 22 of them are for strikes. So the ratio is, for the most part, right where you want it. As Webb Little, in that game early on this morning, in that 9-3 victory over the Unicorns, he went 0 for 1. Had a sacrifice flyout, drove in a run, but also had a walk and a strikeout. Came in to score 1 of the 9 runs for the team. Down 0-2, not an easy situation to be in against Hensley. Latona setting up inside. We'll see if he goes there, as this one misses up and in, as Little backs up out of the way of that one. Brings the count to 1-2. Webb Little coming to us from Utica College over on the East Coast. On the 2-2, there's another breaking ball from Hensley. We've seen more of that here tonight, and he gets his 3rd consecutive strikeout to Whisker, Shelby, and now Little. First out of the inning is recorded, and in total, that's already strikeout number 4 for Hensley. Matches the total that he had on Sunday through the 5 2/3 innings pitched. A really good sign, but at the same time, you got to pitch this well when you're going up against a guy in Cronin who clearly has had his way with the Unicorns offense. It'll be Brandt Broussard stepping in, looks at the cutter. At least that looked to be the cutter. A little bite action on that pitch. Started off out of the zone, inside, and then cut over the heart of the plate. Broussard, nothing he's going to do with that. As the 0-1, ground ball, left side, not going to be an easy play for the newcomer, Malik Blaze. Grabs it with the bare hand, and how about that, Mr. Nonchalant? Very easy-looking play for the newcomer, Malik Blaze, as the shortstop retires Broussard for out number 2, and a tip of the cap there from the starting pitcher, Hensley. So, a couple of quick outs for Hensley, but now he's got to go to the top of the order. So, 2nd time through, we'll see how he fares compared to the first. A lot of goose eggs up on that board, and we're happy that that is the case. We'll see what Dobson can do. Worked a 6-pitch pop out to first base. Back to start the home half of the first. First pitch swinging. Ground ball back up the middle, and there is hit number 1 of the night for either team. It's always different the 2nd time through the lineup compared to the first. Team still getting comfortable, and now Dobson over there on first base. Count it. His 36th hit of the season, and that puts him still in 2nd place behind Cortez, who's got 39 on the year. As these two now back-to-back in the lineup. Dobson was at the bottom in the 9th for some of this season, but with the way he's been stroking the bat, clearly going to sit at the top of this order until he ends up cooling off, but don't see that happening anytime soon. Dobson also 10 for 10 on the base paths this year, so would not be surprised to see him go on one of the first couple of pitches against Cortez, as this one in the dirt. Good stop there from Latona, as Cortez takes a good eye. He's got the 3rd best walk rate on the season with an 18% walk rate. In total on the year for the Westside Woolly Mammoth center fielder, count him 24 walks, accompanied with a .352 average between him and Pat Adams. I mean, pick your poison, take your pick. The 1-0 to Cortez misses away, and you can tell Sonny battling that sun as it is not an easy situation to be in as a hitter early on in these contests. The shade isn't as bad as we've seen it before, but after that last pitch, Cortez looked like he was trying a little bit harder to look at it. Not an easy out at second base. Man, that man is fast. Dobson now 11 for 11 on the season for the shortstop as he gets into scoring position, and especially important with 2 outs. So he gets over there with ease into scoring position, trying to help out his teammate Cortez, but it doesn't look like he's going to need any help. This is a tough situation to be in for Hensley, trying to avoid his second consecutive walk to Cortez. But now with the base open at first, would not be the worst thing to walk him, but looks as if Hensley's going to go after him. So you got to respect that against a guy who's batting .351 coming into the season, or coming into the ball game tonight. Big lead for Dobson at second, but Hensley fighting back after the 3-0 count in there against Sonny Cortez, who was looking for ball 4, and his 25th walk of the season won't get it here. So Hensley battling back the payoff pitch, and he's in there with a fastball. Cortez, though, gets a piece of it to stay alive. So a really good job from Hensley to throw 3 straight strikes after 3 straight balls. Mentioned the Mammoths in their specialty Spider-Man jerseys as it's Comic-Con night at the ballpark, also Thirsty Thursday. Payoff pitch again, ground ball, right side, over to Bonneke. Over to first, should do it, right out with the catch. And the Mammoths strand a runner in scoring position. We remain scoreless through 3. Good pitchers duel going on here tonight. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 3 innings of play, yet to have any runs on the board, and that is courtesy of Matt Cronin and Ty Hensley. These 2 pitchers combining for 86 pitches and 8 strikeouts, as both of them have 4 at the moment. It'll be the top of the order, though, for Utica due up to start this 4th. The backdoor breaking ball, a slider does not get the zone. Curry with a good 1-0 count to start his second plate appearance of the night. Takes a good, healthy cut at the 1-0, fouls it off of Barbie, brings the count even. He had worked the count 1-1 in his first at-bat and popped out to the shortstop, Dobson, to start this baseball game off. We'll see what Cronin elects to bring on the 1-1 pitch. Would be shocked to see anything other than a slider, but instead it's a fastball that Coley Curry took for a ride. It was just the placement of that baseball in the zone that took that ball foul into the corner. As if it was a little bit more inside or a little bit lower, it could have very well gone for a further ride, but in the end, Curry's going to have to get a new piece of lumber as it looks as if Cronin with another trophy into the lumber yard, if you will. He gets a new bat from his buddy Adrian Guzman, who actually does not get the start tonight. Played second base in the non-public game earlier on today, but the newcomer Malik Blaze getting the start tonight at shortstop. As, of course, with a new piece of wood, you got to get the pine tar on there, so taking a little bit longer to get back into the swing of things is Coley. We'll see if that has anything to do with Cronin and if that breaks up the rhythm that he's been absolutely cruising in. Sometimes it's a call of time. Sometimes it's a broken bat. We'll see if it affects Cronin at all as he's looking for his 5th strikeout of the night and his 2nd consecutive, and he will get it via the swing and the miss there from Coley Curry for out number 1 here in this top of the 4th. So here comes Erik Jones, the man who was the hero in that game on Sunday against the Westside Woolly Mammoths when they ended up getting a 3-run home run to put them up 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, but then Westside came crawling back and got 2 runs of their own. Ended up making it a very interesting 9th inning as Jones looks at 2 consecutive pitches out of the zone from Cronin. That's the first time we've said that all evening. I mentioned 36 pitches coming into this frame, 28 of them for strikes for Cronin, and that's a little bit better than what you'd expect. As a different story here as Erik Jones looks at 3 consecutive out of the zone, and looking down the list, that is the just 2nd 3-ball count that we've seen tonight out of the hand of Cronin. It was Rideout who struck out swinging for the 2nd out in the 2nd inning after a long battle with Cronin as the 3-0 in there for called strike 1. So battle not over yet for Jones. The 3-1 pitch, outside corner, close but no cigar as Barbie behind the dish tried to frame it up. But good call there from our home plate umpire, Scott Wolendowski, as it'll be Dan Elliott coming up to the plate. Him and the man in the on-deck circle, of course, that being Jimmy Latona, them former teammates in college at Mercyhurst, as they're batting back-to-back as the 3-4 hitters in this lineup with a lot of power to their name. As on the season, it's Latona with the league lead with 7. Elliott in 3rd place with, of course, 5. As this one taken for a ride into right field, but it's Javon Shelby who ends up making the catch. A little bit of a slip there after he made the catch, but he looks like he's going to be just fine as one Mercyhurst alum is retired via the fly out to right field. We'll see what the next one can do as Latona 1 for 2 in that game earlier on today with a single, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a strikeout. Latona on the season, mentioned the league lead with home runs, top 6 with 19 runs scored, top 7 with 16 RBIs driven in, top 4 with a .529 slugging percentage. Takes this one to the opposite field, and it's going to drop down in there for a base knock. Shelby charging it in as the runners will move to 1st and 2nd. First hit of the day for the Unicorns as the no-hitter, perfect game if you will, is all said and done for Cronin. Now with runners on 1st and 2nd, Colin Rideout standing in, looking to get his hit streak up to now 6 games as he's 0 for 1 with that swing and miss strikeout in the 2nd. So Rideout batting from the left side with an opportunity here. Big gap up the middle as that pitch in there for a strike. Rideout with a healthy cut, hits it off the end of the bat as it squirrels its way over there in the third base coach's box over to the assistant manager, Willie Martin. But Cronin allowing his first hit of the night, first base runner as well, as he had the no-hitter before Erik Jones earned the walk, and then the perfect game after the walk from Erik Jones, and then the no-hitter. All said and done after Latona's single. The 0-1 to Rideout misses outside. Good eye there from him as Rideout on the year, 30 hits, through the first 25 games with a big swing and a miss on the 1-1 effort. And there's that slider again from Cronin. A pitch that is honestly one of the best in the league. Not sure if I can think of a specific pitcher with a specific pitch that gets more outs than Cronin with his slider as the 1-2. Even when he's not getting it out, still in on the hands, and you get that exact result. The hard ground ball hit, but it's 40 feet foul, and that's the best that you can do with a pitch like that, is ride out, trying to avoid his second consecutive strikeout against a very stealthy right-hander. Cronin started the inning off with a swing and miss strikeout to Coley Curry. He's trying to do the same to end it and get his 6th of the evening. Won't do it here. Ground ball back up the middle. Ryan Dobson ends up keeping it in the infield, and he catches the base runner, Erik Jones, off guard. We'll see if they get the put out at third as well. Dobson hustles over there from the shortstop position. What a play from Ryan Dobson. Heads up job there from the Mammoth shortstop, and they get the threat out of it in the top of the 4th. Real good stuff there from Westside. We remain scoreless. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. A dramatic ending to the top of the 4th inning. We'll see what theatrics we see in the home half of the 4th. As it'll be Will Johnson, Jake Polshan, Jake Barbie. As it looks as if Johnson could not hold up, but home plate umpire Scott Wolendowski had nothing for him. He must have missed it because his partner down the line there, Mr. Mark Stewart, did in fact see it, as Johnson could not hold back. So the 51st pitch of the night for Ty Hensley, a good one, as he's got 50 through 3 innings. 4 strikeouts, though, to just the 1 walk. That's a good ratio compared to what we've seen so far from Hensley this year. Johnson, in his first plate appearance, reached on the fielder's choice when Cortez was taken out via the 5-4 putout at second base. Johnson trying to keep that batting average above 300 on the season. It was below 300 at 288 recently, but it has crept up bit by bit. In total, Johnson on the season batting .306. It's good for 7th in the league. But I mentioned, he rarely strikes out and he rarely walks, as the 1-2 pitch, that breaking ball, I don't know how anybody can lay off of something like that because I know I sure wouldn't have. So the breaking ball on the 1-2 pitch just misses upstairs. Great eye there from Johnson. We'll see if he can do something with the 2-2 effort from Hensley. Here it comes. Fastball outside corner, called strike 3. Strikeout number 5 of the night for Ty Hensley, and counted the 3rd via the look. And, of course, the Unicorns and Mammoths played in the game earlier on today. And taking a quick look at the overall schedule for these two teams, the Unicorns, if you will, they played back on Wednesday against the Hoppers yesterday. As this one hit up into the air, Polshan on the first pitch. This one into center field. Easy play for Dan Elliott for out number 2, but in the game on Wednesday, they really only used Donnie Goodson and Sam Cottingham-Beard, but earlier today, of course, used Nolan Clenny, well as the hometown kid out of Novi, Michigan. Of course, that being the right-hander Clenny, but overall, it's a tough scenario to be in. You got so many innings to work with and only so many pitchers. Of course, Spencer Stockton, the latest to make it out of the USPBL. He signed with the Cincinnati Reds. Jake Barbie, meanwhile, in there for his second plate appearance in the last couple of innings. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. A quick second out. Polshan on that pop-out to center field has him 0 for 2, but Barbie made good contact in his first plate appearance. He was down 0-1 and then hit a line drive right at Kyle Bonneke for the second out, or for the first out, excuse me, in the second, trying to avoid being the third out here in the fourth. The 1-1 from Hensley. Misses upstairs, nowhere close. Easy eye there from Barbie. Barbie on the season, 18 RBIs, which is good for 4th. Trying to keep that batting average up as it sits at 283 coming into play today. 26 hits in 25 games, though, for the man out of Statesville, North Carolina. Hensley, this one misses upstairs as well, so we're starting to see maybe a little bit more fatigue from Hensley as he's missed the last couple of pitches upstairs. As he goes to that rosin bag, get a little bit more grip. Mentioned in the USPBL, Director of Baseball Operations Justin Orenduff raising the pitcher's mound by 2 inches to avoid more injuries, as Barbie will reach via the walk. Just the second one of the night for Hensley here in this now home half of the 4th, and we'll see if Ethan Whisker can continue his strong day. He's 0 for 1 in this game with the strikeout, but mentioned was 3 for 4 with a double, 2 singles, and 4 RBIs in that non-public game. Man who's really climbed the ladder, if you will, as of late. That batting average about 3 weeks ago was sitting at 285, and right now 320 after that performance earlier on today, as he's ready for the first pitch. Takes a healthy cut, but it goes out of play over to our right. As Whisker, another one of the hometown kids out of Clio, Michigan, went to Hillsdale College. Of course, a place that Paul Nochi, the manager of Eastside, knows all too well about. Managed them for quite some time. Whisker down 0-1. Hensley going right after him. This pitch might have been a little bit lower than he would have liked, but he gets Whisker to chase after it. And for how errant Hensley has been throughout the year, not the case tonight or in the last outing for him against Westside. See what he goes with on the 0-2. In the dirt, gets away from Latona as it ricochets off of the netting behind home plate, as Barbie will be given second base. Not that he didn't have it already, but that making it official. Whisker was down 1-2 in the count when he struck out back in the second inning, trying to avoid that for a second consecutive time right here and now. Javon Shelby due up on deck. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Leads that league with the 40% strikeout rate. So if you can't get Whisker, you got an opportunity in Shelby coming up, but you want to get the man that you got up at the plate right now. Breaking ball. Absolute bender. A pump of the fist from the right-hander Hensley as he gets counted strikeout number 6 and through just 4 innings of play. We're scoreless as we head to the 5th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 4, and we are scoreless, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Campagna, Kyle Bonneke, Josh Goulet due up for Utica. Here in this 5th inning, Matt Cronin has allowed 2 singles, and they were to the last 2 batters of that 4th inning. This one, a line drive into right field. Calm, cool, and collective, Javon Shelby runs that one down with ease as Campagna is retired for the 2nd time tonight. First time around, struck out on 3 pitches to end the 2nd, but it takes just 2 here to retire him with the fly out. For out number 1 in the 5th, Matt Cronin looking very, very sharp. Mentioned he went 7 innings against the Unicorns back on June the 27th. 3 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, just the 1 walk and the 1-0 victory. Looking to see another type of game like that tonight as Bonneke looks at called strike 1 to begin this at-bat. Bonneke with a little 3-game hit streak going, but the big thing for him, I mentioned it when he was up at the plate last time around, as that pitch just misses on the outside part of the plate. Kyle Bonneke has a 89% contact rate and a 190 batting average. I'm not sure how those 2 numbers line up together, but in the end, just some unluckiness there for the second baseman out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Looks at ball 2, so a good hitter's count coming up as the infield, outfield at normal depth. That wind blowing a little bit more out to left field as the 2-1 slider, of course, because why not? Matt Cronin looking absolutely stellar with that pitch that he throws about 49% of the time. No reason not to go back to it here. You get him to swing and miss on the 2-1. Go after him again as this one taken for a ride into right field. Javon Shelby with a little bit more giddy up in his step this time around as he makes the catch on the line. Much better contact off the bat of Bonneke compared to Campagna, but in the end, Javon Shelby gets the job done as it looks as if JJ, the field general, having a little issue getting that bat, but in the end, a little help there from our home plate umpire, Scott Wolendowski, as JJ makes his way off the field. But 2 up and 2 down for Cronin, looking for count at his 4th 1-2-3 inning through 5. And that's the part about him. You see him set, ready to go as the music's still playing, the batter's still getting ready, and when you're set and ready to go and your opponent just steps in, you throw that pitch right away, catch him a little off guard, get ahead in the count, and it sort of turns into a domino effect with the success that he's been able to have. He gets out in front of these batters early and often, and when you have a pitch that isn't a fastball that you can put pretty much anywhere at any given time, you're going to have success, as I would not be surprised to see Matt Cronin in a different type of jersey when the 2019 baseball season is all said and done, as the front door slider right on cue. He's been throwing that away to righties, but freezes up Josh Goulet on the 0-1 count as he's looking for his 6th strikeout of the night. We'll see if he gets it here. There it is, the slider again, but that's what we are used to seeing from Cronin. When he's ahead of these hitters, throws it away to the righties. Does he come back with a fastball inside? We'll see what he brings on the 1-2. I have no idea. We'll see if Josh has a clue. Instead, ground ball, left side, just foul over there to Webb Little at the hot corner, called by Scott Wolendowski, our home plate umpire, right on top of it. As Goulet will stay alive for at least one more. Webb Little did make the play if it was fair, but just by a hair, it's foul. So Goulet will have at least one more try, and this is not anything different for Goulet. He had a long plate appearance back in the 3rd. In total, had a 9-pitch at-bat when he grounded out to shortstop for the 2nd out in the 3rd inning. Looking for pitch number 5 from Cronin here on the 1-2. Slider right down Broadway. Goulet laid on it, and that's just goes to show you what type of stuff that Cronin has to offer. As we're through 4.5 scoreless, you're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We have two former draft picks facing off against each other to start the home half of the fifth. It's Hensley versus Shelby. We'll see who has the advantage. Shelby 0 for 1 thus far with a looking strikeout that ended inning number 2 as Hensley starts off the inning with a strike and then misses on the 0-1 upstairs with the fastball. Hensley with 65 pitches through 4, but 41 of them have been for strikes. He's got 6 strikeouts to just 2 walks. Very good line so far for the right-hander as the 1-1 to Shelby. A little bit low, but he goes after it as he swings right through, quickly down 1-2. See if Hensley can start the 5th inning as he ended the 4th with a strikeout. As the 1-2 pitch, right down Broadway. Shelby swings right through it. Count it, strikeout number 7 on the night for Ty Hensley. Taking a quick look at his numbers overall, actually the strikeout to Ethan Whisker was the season high for Ty Hensley. He had not had more than 5 strikeouts in a game. He had, count them, 4 different appearances with at least 5 strikeouts, but without a doubt the best outing of the year that we've seen from Ty Hensley. And, oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's on 3 days rest as Webb Little looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. He pitched on Sunday against these Mammoths and went 5 2/3, allowing just the 1 earned run on 4 hits, but he did have 6 walks, which was his Achilles heel in that contest. Probably would have given him the victory if he didn't have as many, but in the end, maybe it could have been a couple more hits. You never know. But in the end, Ty Hensley looking absolutely incredible tonight as he's about to be done the second time through the order with just the 1 hit allowed. That was back in the 3rd inning when Ryan Dobson had his 36th hit of the year. Got into scoring position with a stolen base, but that has been the really only threat of the night against Hensley as the count is at now 2-1 to Little. Good hitters count right here. See if he goes after it. He does. Ball in on the hands. This one in shallow left center field. Dan Elliott calling off Coley Curry, and he makes the catch on the run for out number 2. Quickly 2 up and 2 down for Hensley. I mentioned Cronin through the first 5 innings. He's got 4 perfect innings of 1-2-3 work. As for Hensley, he's got just 1 of those. That was back in the 2nd inning, but he's trying to get his second 1-2-3 frame here in this 5th. We'll see if he can do it, but not if Brandt Broussard has anything to say about it. Mentioned Broussard coming to us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Played with the LSU Tigers. That's big-time stuff. LSU, one of the best collegiate baseball programs in the history of the game. Broussard with the Tigers in 2019. Only had 28 hits in 45 games, just a .217 batting average, but that's the SEC, ladies and gentlemen, and that just kind of goes to show you how good that conference can be. As Hensley mentioned, 65 pitches through 4, but trying to keep that number as down as possible as the 1-1 pitch misses just downstairs. As you saw a little bit longer of a look from Hensley to home plate after that pitch as Broussard works the count 2-1. Hensley ready for the 2-1 pitch. We'll see if Broussard's ready for it. Fly ball over to right. Goulet ranging to his left, and he'll make the catch for the 3rd and final out. The second 1-2-3 inning of the night for Ty Hensley. We are scoreless through 5. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 5 innings of play here on this gorgeous Thursday night for baseball on the 18th of July. Rich Borland back with you, solo on the broadcast tonight, as we have just 3 combined hits between these two teams. As it'll be Malik Blaze, and then, of course, the top of the order in Curry and Jones due up for Utica. But on that 1-0 pitch from the right-hander Cronin, Blaze swings through it as if he had no idea what was coming. And then on the 1-1 pitch, there's that devastating slider again from Cronin. He's got 65 pitches through the first 5 innings of work, but he's got already 6 strikeouts, same as many as Hensley had through his first 4 innings of work, but he's now at, count 'em, 7 through 5. And now Cronin matching that as Malik will go down in the books here via the look on the outside corner. Cronin just absolutely maneuvering his way through the competition with ease. Already the 7 strikeouts to just the 1 walk, and we're 2 times through the order here with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. So Coley Curry standing in now, 0-for-2 with a pop out to short and a swing and miss strikeout against Cronin, and more of the same as the success continues on for the right-hander. Gets called strike 1 against Coley. And now, wow, look at this. Back-to-back strikes. Cronin getting Curry to look at one this time around. Quickly down 0-2, trying to avoid his 2nd consecutive strikeout as the leadoff man, as the backdoor slider nowhere close. Brings the count to now 1-2. So on this 1-2 pitch, that one going nowhere, misses outside and low. Good eye from Curry, and now he's ready to go. Here's your opportunity. You know that Cronin just missed the zone on 2 consecutive pitches, something that he doesn't do often. Rarely see him go with 3 out of the zone, as that slider must have missed low because it looked good from up here. Definitely didn't miss inside, as good job from Curry to go down 0-2 and work his way back into the full count. See what Cronin can do here. This one taken for a ride. Look out in that right field patio as Curry fouls this one off hard, but stays alive for at least one more pitch. Ground ball, chopped to the right side as the second baseman, Brandt Broussard, was playing so far over to the first base bag that he was unable to stop his body and retire Coley Curry. So he's going to get the infield single, just the count at 3rd hit of the night for the Corns. But that's what you got the man in Coley Curry at the top of your lineup for. He gets on base more than most, and we'll see if the power hitter Erik Jones, batting in the 2 spot tonight, can deliver with 1 out and 1 man on. Cronin's first little bit of issue, he had given up the 2 singles in the 4th inning, but after right-out single in the same exact play, Erik Jones, the man up at the plate now, was caught in between 3rd and home as he was rounding 3rd base, and Ryan Dobson made him look silly with a great heads-up play. You always got to remember that just because you think a play might be over, it's not until that time is called. As Jones on the 0-1, pops one up in the infield. Looks like it should be an easy play for Brandt Broussard, and he makes the catch for out number 2 as Cronin looking sharp, even though you got the man on base. After the leadoff strikeout, the single to Curry, Jones popping out to second base for out number 2. We'll see what Elliott has in store. 0-for-2 with a ground out to second and a fly out to right, as I would imagine Dobson's going to shade over towards the middle. He hasn't yet. But Elliott pulling the ball on both tries so far tonight. Understand Dobson staying at his normal position near second base with Curry over there on first. Mentioned Curry on the season for Utica is 1-for-1 on the base pass. Not a ton of examples, but you know he's got the opportunity and the ability to do so. Elliott looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Instead, on the 1-0, he fouls this one off. Elliott, 1-for-4 with a single in the first game earlier today as a part of the 3-9 loss, but he did have 3 strikeouts. So, better sign from him in this game. No swing and misses just yet with the ground out and the fly out, but a big swing and miss there on the 1-1 slider out of that right-hander Cronin. Would be surprised to see him go with anything else here after getting a big chase there from the big fella. Little foul ball here, so Elliott continuing to fight. He saw just 4 pitches in the first inning, just 2 pitches in the fourth inning, but working the count a little bit better here this third time around. Third time might be the charm here for the big fella, especially with the infield playing at normal depth with the base runner on. So this one misses, brings the count even now to 2-2. Don't want to work it into a full count if you're Cronin, because you got Curry, the speedster, over there on the first base bag. Don't want to have him moving on the pitch. Instead, this one in the dirt. Barbie, though, ends up not being able to find it. Home plate umpire Scott Wolendowski, I believe, said he went around. Is this one thrown over to first base, and the out is, in fact, made. But home plate umpire Scott Wolendowski did not go to his partner. But in the end, it doesn't matter, as we're going to go to the home half of the 6th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the 6th inning. Bunch of zeros up on that board. Rich Borland back with you for another fun inning here at Jimmy John's Field. Corns and Mammoths struggling to get a run, but that's courtesy of Ty Hensley and Matt Cronin. Matt Hensley with 7 strikeouts through 5, and then Cronin with 7 through 6, as they are trying to go toe-to-toe against each other. Is the first pitch swinging. Ryan Dobson, who made a great defensive play earlier on in this game, gets one from Joe Campagna over there at the hot corner for Utica, as he makes that little play on the grounder on the run. Throws it over there with the throw foot to retire the speedster Dobson at the top of the order on 1 pitch. And that's exactly what Hensley needed. He sits at 78 pitches now, 77 through 5 innings of work, 48 of them for strikes, but the 7 strikeouts to 2 walks, without a doubt, the best outing of the year for Ty Hensley. But when are we going to get a run in this ballgame? That is the question. We saw a pitcher's duel last night in a 2-1 final. It was, of course, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers who took the victory over these Unicorns. Don Goodson pitched tremendous, went 7+ innings, but was unable to get the victory as the second pitch to Sonny Cortez misses in the dirt, evens the count up at 1-1. I talk so much about Sonny and what he's been able to do for the USPBL in his time here, but taking a look at where he's been so far, the San Pedro, California native, mentioned he played with the Bakersfield Train Robbers as a part of that championship team in 2018 under Brian Kluppy when they won the Pecos League Championship. Sonny Cortez attended Chico State University in Division II ball in California. At Chico State in 2017, he batted .329 with 24 stolen bases and had 20 multi-hit games. As I take a quick look for some of those numbers for Cortez in this one, Cortez has 7 3-hit games so far in the USPBL. Incredible stuff as the count evens up at 2-2. Hensley trying to get strikeout number 8 of the night. See if he does it here, as this one's actually going to get the piece of Cortez as the hit by pitch first of the night for Hensley. It's a tough guy to allow on the base pass as Cortez does have some speed to his game. You never want to see him get on base if you're the opponent, especially with the men you got coming up behind him. Johnson, Polshin, Barbie, Whisker. As Johnson takes a deep breath, standing in for the third time tonight. Technically 0 for 2. Struck out in his last plate appearance in the fourth, but reached on a fielder's choice back in that first inning of play. Is Hensley looking for nothing but maybe a ground ball here that could lead to 2. But it'd have to be a very hard hit ball off the bat with the way that Johnson and, of course, Cortez have speed to their credit. As the wind picks up a bit, it's blowing out towards left field. Johnson does have 2 home runs on the year. Second pitch missing upstairs, nowhere close, as there is nobody at the moment warming up in that Unicorn bullpen, as Hensley now over the 80 pitch mark. You wonder how long it'll be until somebody starts to make their way down into, the bullpen. But he's going to go as long as possible. The Unicorns have gone through a handful of pitchers already in the 2 games they've played so far this weekend. So Johnson with a good hitter's count on a 2-0. We'll see if Cortez tries to take second here. He stays home. Foul ball into the mitt of Latona. Brings this count now to 2-1. I mentioned Will Johnson, 12 games in a row on base, and it's now 13 when he reached on the fielder's choice back in the first. At 91% contact rate, best in the league. Wouldn't be a good try to maybe have Cortez take the bag, because you know that Will Johnson's got a big opportunity to put the ball in play. You just want to make sure it finds a spot where nobody's fielding, of course. As the 2-1, it's actually thrown over to first base. Right out, staying put over there at the bag, keeping tabs on Cortez is Hensley. The 2-1 pitch, outside corner, but it was in the zone. Johnson kind of just stuck that bat out there and made contact, but it was over our heads here in the press box, as it's been a tremendous night for baseball, not just statistically, but weather-wise. High 80s, a little bit muggy, but we will take that for what we had over the last couple of months, as it is officially the hottest, or not the hottest, but the hot summer that we were expecting. As you see Cortez going on the 2-2 pitch, a little hit and run action there, but Johnson fouls it off again behind the netting. So we'll stay here for just a moment. Will Johnson, the Atlanta, Georgia native, played at Eastern Kentucky University. Redshirted in his senior season, batted .303, had 16 home runs, 47 RBIs, on-base percentage of .440, but that also helped because he had 56 walks in a season. Hensley sets, comes home with it. Fastball just missing low. Looked good from up here, but instead it's just a hair low. So Hensley has to take a deep breath and focus on the next page in the book. You got to keep on writing this ship that you got here. It's been a tremendous pitching matchup, but Cronin has done darn just as good. Hensley looking for his strikeout number 8 on the night. Doesn't get it here as this one popped up, and it's going to be too far deep as it gets out of play. So Johnson continuing to fight on here in this long battle. This one, taken for a ride out into left center. Can Coley Curry run it down? No, he cannot. Rounding second, headed for third is Cortez. He's got the speed to come into home. He's rounding third, and he will make it in time with no throw, and delivering. Will Johnson with the first extra base hit of the night comes through for Westside and gives them the 1-0 lead. So the home team, first one to score here in this home half of the sixth, as Will Johnson was 2 for 3 in that game this morning and continues on his hot afternoon into the night as he gets the RBI double. And not only that, but taking a quick look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on 8 pitches in that at-bat. Very good battle for Johnson with a little cherry on top to deliver the first run of the game. So Polshin stands in now, 0-for-2 with a strikeout and a fly out to center field. Mentioned Polshin at the moment riding a 16-game on-base streak in a row. Trying to keep that going here tonight. Pat Adams of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers had a 29-game streak on base in a row, and that was actually cut short just yesterday in that 2-1 win. But Pat Adams will not be able to go all 30 games for Eastside getting on base safely, so that was a tough thing to go through. But the beauty of that, there's always tomorrow to start a new streak. Polshin ready for the 1-0. He's got that open stance, trying to get home run number 4 of the season. Hits this one up. If it's going to stay in the field of play, it's got a chance for either Campagna or Latona, and Campagna ends up running it over as he was very eager to make that second out of the inning. But in the end, Polshin stays alive. That's a tough, tough play as he has to hand back the baseball to his pitcher. Mention the Unicorns in their away purple uniforms, but the Westside Woolly Mammoths supporting their Spider-Man jersey is another one of our specialty jersey nights here at the USPBL. Each team gets one as it's Comic-Con night at the ballpark. Polshin, meanwhile, on the 1-1 pitch, fouls this one off. Goes into the mitt of Latona. Runner on second is Johnson. He's got enough speed to come in to score on a single. We'll see if Polshin can deliver. This one's in the dirt. Big time stop there from Latona. Picking up his pitcher as he should. It's the sun setting here at Jimmy John's Field. Hensley ready to bring the 2-2 home. Fastball. Hit on the inside. Got to play it second, and it ricochets off of Will Johnson's helmet. Tried to get the out at second to get the lead runner, but instead it turns into a tough scenario for the Corns. We're ready to get the second out of the inning. Instead, runners now on second and third with just the one out, and that doesn't help with how many pitches Ty Hensley is now currently sitting at. As we take a quick look in the bullpen, trying to see who's getting loose down there. Looks to be number 11 as Hensley trying to get through this battle. I believe that is one of the newcomers getting loose down there. So if he comes in, we'll give you his information. As Barbie stands in now. Count it 2-2 on the batter. This one misses up and away, so good battle here from Jake. You worked the walk in the fourth inning to reach base safely for the first time today. Hensley really trying to get through this sixth inning of work and keep it a 1-0 game. Won't be easy, though, with runners on second and third and just the one out. Mentioned Hensley, the first-round draft pick from the New York Yankees back in 2012. Went through 2 Tommy John surgeries as well as a hip/leg surgery. Man who's been through quite a bit. But this is also the same human being that played in front of 150 scouts looking for him in a high school game. as I thought there was a little miscommunication there at the scoreboard. Jake Barbie had not worked the count full. He was down in the count, or excuse me, the count was even at 1-1 as we play a little catch-up here. The scoreboard up on the big screen was a little bit behind from that at-bat from Polshan. Barbie ready for the 1-2. This one in the dirt. Good stop again from Latona as the count now even. Barbie in his second season with these Woolly Mammoths. Batting average at the moment sitting at .283 coming into play today. And it looks as if in the middle of an at-bat will Skip Essien take out his starter. He's right around 100 pitches, if not just over. And you got to understand, this man threw 104 pitches on Sunday. So over 200 pitches in 4 days. That's something that you just got to tip your cap to the starter. And it looks like, hold on, maybe won't be done just yet. So something that you don't see all too often, a meeting of the minds on the mound in the middle of a count. So leave it to Skip Essien. He's been around the block a few times. Was actually the manager of the Chicago Cubs back in the early 90s when Don Zimmer was let go. But now here in Utica with the Corns, over 47 years of coaching experience there for Skip. Wonder what he told his starter Hensley. Maybe this is your last batter no matter what. Go out there and get him with your best pitch. We'll see if that is the case. Barbie, though, ready for the 2-2 pitch with 2 men on in scoring position. This one popped up. Looks like it's going to be enough to stay in the field of play. Latona underneath it. And he does, in fact, make the catch for the second out. So we'll see if Hensley is able to finish, excuse me, able to finish this inning off. So here comes Ethan Whisker. A great first game today when he went 3 for 4, but so far 0 for 2. And it looks like he's going to have the day at 0 for 3 through 6 innings as the first pitch is swung on. He flies out there to left field as we go to the 7th inning with a 1-0 lead for Westside. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Top of the 7th we go. First pitch swinging is Jimmy Latona. He didn't know that one got past the third baseman, of course, that being Webb Little, and he slides in safely for the lead-off double for the Corns. The home run leader in the USPBL coming through with a big-time hit on the first pitch that he sees. Second hit of the night for Jimmy Latona. First extra base hit of the night for the Corns. So after the Mammoths get a run in the home half of the 6th inning, Matt Cronin out there for his 7th inning of work. 84 pitches coming into this frame, but the 85th pitch of the night ends up down that left field line and brings the runner into scoring position for Utica. We'll see if Colin Rideout can do the same thing that Latona had done. A little bit weird if he gets a double here. Both of these batters had swing and miss strikeouts back in the 2nd. Both of these batters had singles in the 4th. And now Latona here with a double in the 7th. We'll see if Colin Rideout can join the party as he looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Matt Cronin throws the pitch right side of the infield. Over there is Broussard. Throws the ball on the run over to his right, and that was not an easy play for as good as he made it look. But the runner does get over to third base, so we'll see if the infield comes into play. Of course, it's been just a one-run affair since about 10 minutes ago. So the 4-3 put out is recorded for out number 1. And if you're Colin Rideout, obviously you wanted a base knock there, but worst case scenario, a productive out is made. You hit it to the right side of the infield, allow your base runner to come over to the third base bag, and now all Joe Campagna needs to do is hit a big fly ball deep enough to score the game-tying run. Question is, how far will he be able to hit it, and where will that line cross with Latona over at third base? Not a ton of speed on the base pass, but sometimes you got to take the gamble. Meanwhile, Campagna for the 2nd time tonight, he's gone down 0-2 in this count. First time that happened, he went down on 3 straight back in the 2nd inning when he ended that frame. Flew out to right field on just 2 pitches in the 5th, but he needs to come up big here for his team with the infield playing in. The 0-2. Slider. Looked to be right over the heart of the plate, something that Cronin probably was not looking for. So he was probably trying to go more outside and force Campagna to chase after it, but he ends up getting lucky there. So we'll see exactly if he can battle through this. Infield again in, the 0-2 to Campagna. Slider this time upstairs, but Campagna going after it, trying to stay alive. Understandably so. So count them 1, 2, 3, 4 pitches already to Joe. All of them for strikes, as that's kind of been the narrative for Cronin. Mentioned 84 pitches coming into this inning, and he had 61 of them for strikes to just 23 balls, as that 0-2 pitch looked darn good. But our home plate umpire, Scott Wolendowski, says otherwise. Must have just missed a hair outside. Good eye there from Campagna. I know I wouldn't have been able to hold off on it. The 1-2. Big fly down the left field line, but it'll just be another strike as he continues this battle on. Already 6 pitches here. Mentioned Cronin with 7 strikeouts through 6. What a big strikeout number 8 would be. The 1-2. In on the hands, and look at that. Willie Martin, assistant manager here with Utica, still got it. Of course, former player in the USPBL, transitioning into the managerial role. Willie's a great guy. Always helps out, and he knows a thing or two about baseball as well. So Campagna trying to continue this fight as this one gets past the catcher, Jake Barbie. Cronin coming in to cover, but not in time as the wild pitch will tie this one up. That's a tough situation to be in if you're Utica, especially Cronin, who I would imagine so in his last inning of work, and especially with 2 strikes on the board after a tremendously long battle with Campagna, which it's still ongoing. So the count now even at 2-2. Campagna not with anybody on base now, so a lot less pressure. See if Cronin can at least get the strikeout he was looking for a pitch ago, and he does, as Barbie looks like takes this one off of a bad spot. Might have been the wrist, so we'll see if he's going to be okay. But he clearly looks like he's in some pain. And got to mention, Jackson Smith did catch early on in the first game of this day-night doubleheader, so want to keep tabs and make sure Barbie's okay, but it does not look good from up here. We're hoping that Jake's all right. Barbie clearly under some discomfort here, and got the training staff out there. Appreciate the official medical provider, the USPBL, the Detroit Medical Center, DMC, and we're going to take just a quick break. Make sure Jake's all right. We'll be right back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. All right, back into the action. 2 outs, nobody on is Kyle Bonneke. First pitch swinging as he's 0 for 2 on the night. With a grounder back up the middle, it ended up ricocheting off of Cronin's glove and then over to the second baseman, Brandt Broussard, for a bang-bang play at first. Back in the 3rd inning. Since then, a line out to right field. A good piece of contact for Bonneke, but he's got a whale of a battle at the moment. As that pitch, a paint job from Matt Cronin, who's still trying to get through this 7th inning after allowing Latona to come in to score. And look at that. Big swing and a miss. Back-to-back swings and misses out of the hand there of Cronin. And in total, 9 strikeouts through 7. But the Corns do, in fact, get the run on the wild pitch. And we are tied at 1 as we head to stretch time at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Into the bottom of the 7th inning we go. Javon Shelby trying to give us a little spark to start the frame. This one, take it for a ride, out to left it goes. Mammoths give up the run in the top half, but Javon Shelby puts him right back on top with home run number 4 on the season. 2-1 Westside here in the 7th. First pitch swinging, Javon Shelby delivering. And Shelby, who is 0 for 2 on the night with 2 strikeouts, coming up clutch here in this home half of the 7th. And it's before I can even talk about the new arm out there on the mound for Utica. Ty Hensley ends up going 6 innings, allows just the 3 hits, the 1 earned run, as the first pitch out of the hand of Noah Stroll, who some of you might recognize that name. He's actually an Eastside Diamond Hopper. And he got traded for the day as, of course, Utica needing help with some pitching. And that's the beauty of being an independent league. You can kind of do what you want when you want. And Utica needed some pitching, so, hey, you get a little trade option for the day. And then Stroll will end up going back to Eastside after this one's all said and done. But in the end, he ends up helping Eastside, if you will, as he's on the Unicorns tonight. Both of those teams in the Eastern Division. And he just put the Mammoths out in front 2-1 with that big fly from Shelby. As Stroll, coming to us from Southeastern University, teammates with Daniel Valerio, former teammate on Eastside, made his USPBL debut on our America's birthday on the 4th of July against the Unicorns. And not only that, but at Southeastern, he was not only a pitcher but a hitter as well. Batted .317 as a senior, which was the only year that he played there. As Webb Little standing in, looks at a couple of pitches as the count goes to 2-1. So a little break in the action as Little continuing on here on this left side of the batter's box. The count 2-1. That one elevated fastball, fouled off into the netting as the count now goes to 2-2. That was a big-time spot from Javon Shelby, who had been struggling at the plate for most of the season. But he comes up with a clutch solo shot in a game where we had only seen 1 run from each team going into that at-bat. Backdoor breaking ball to Webb Little, called strike 3 from home plate umpire Scott Wolendowski, and that's good enough for out number 1. Big-time strikeout from Stroll after the leadoff home run. We'll see what Broussard can do. 0 for 2 with a ground out to short and a fly out to right field back in the 5th. So Broussard standing in, mentioned, coming to us from LSU Tigers. Big-time school as he looks at strike 1 to begin this at-bat. As the sun has officially set in Utica, we're trying to see how this one ends up settling as the 0-1 breaking ball in there for called strike 2, and that was a nasty pitch with the combination of the outside fastball the pitch before. So you see the right-hander working very, very well after that leadoff home run from Shelby. He made 1 mistake on 1 pitch, but in a 1-1 game, that's all it takes, as Broussard stays alive on the indoor off-speed pitch. He fouls it off out of play. Mentioned these teams right in the thick of it, as the Beavers still remaining out in front, but not by much. Utica sitting at 15-14 coming into play today, and the Mammoths right underneath that, sitting at 14-15. So we could have a change of the standings when this one is all said and done, as the pitch misses away, nowhere close. Brings the count to 1-2. Beavers 15-11, just a game ahead of Utica going into tonight's contest. Broussard looking for his first hit of the night. Is this one fouled off and out of play it goes again. So a good battle from Broussard, who's obviously used to high-velocity pitching playing in the SEC. There is a lefty getting loose in that bullpen for Westside. How about the night we have seen from Matt Cronin? He's got 99 pitches through 7 innings and allowing just the 1 run. but now he's got the lead again. So do you put him back out there? Is this one taken to the opposite field? That's a textbook hit down with 2 strikes from the number 9 hitter, Broussard. Gets the second hit of the inning as it'll go back to the top of the order, and Ryan Dobson could be a world of trouble for Utica here in this home half of the 7th. So as we cross the 9 o'clock hour, I mentioned these Mammoths in their specialty jerseys, the Spider-Man jerseys. You can actually go bid on these right now and for probably the next week or so, as we have the website here, www.32auctions.com. You can search up the Spider-Man jersey as Dobson fouls off the first pitch that he sees. Free swinging right-hander, the shortstop, 1 for 3 coming into this at-bat. A single in the third alongside a stolen base, his 11th of the year, as he is perfect on the baselines. As the 0-1 taken for a ride. If it stays fair, it is trouble. Coley Curry stands up and watches it go, and on to the Chevy Pavilion. Ryan Dobson, who has shown us everything except for power, comes through with his first home run of the season, second home run of the inning for the Mammoths, and they take the 4-1 lead. So Dobson comes through in a big moment, and you have arguably the best hitter in the league coming up now, so nothing easier after Dobson's 2-run shot. First pitch, fastball misses just a hair inside. Scott Wolendowski, home plate umpire, he's right on top of it. A lot of close pitches tonight, but for the most part, he has been on. No bad calls whatsoever. As Cortez looks at another one. He's already been hit by a pitch in his last at-bat, so he obviously skittish to get out of the way of that one, but understandably so. Stroll with the 2-0 pitch right down Broadway. This one fouled up and out of play to the left, and you could see Cortez, after that swing, not happy with himself, as that pitch was something that he probably should have taken advantage of. A little bit too over the plate. The 2-1 in the dirt. Good job from Latona, but in the end it doesn't matter. Nobody on the base pass after the home run, so this one will continue on. Look at that. Cortez ends up getting hit with another pitch, as that one well inside. It would have been ball 4 either way, but back-to-back hit by pitches allows Cortez to get on base. He came in to score the first run of the ball game, so it made a difference, and we'll see if the day will all be said and done for the man who's normally an Eastside Diamond Hopper, and Noah Stroll, in tonight to help out these Corns with the pitching staff. Is nobody really getting loose out in that right field bullpen. So without a doubt, Noah Stroll's inning, as he's got to get 2 more outs before the Mammoths can put together an even longer rally. First pitch to Will Johnson, misses the zone as the count goes to 1-0. Runner going. Latona with the off throw to the left side, as over there with the stolen base for Cortez. Taking a quick look at the numbers for him on the year on the base paths. Sonny Cortez, 8 for 11 coming into play today, but now, of course, 9 for 12. Johnson with a good hitter's count as well, and you can tell Noah Stroll struggling with the command. And nobody's getting loose out in that Utica bullpen, so could be in this home half of the 7th for quite some time. Johnson looks like he's ready to swing at this 3-0. We'll see if he elects to do so. Instead, the pitch misses inside. So that is the first walk of the inning for Noah Stroll, but he's given up a home run, or excuse me, he's given up 2 home runs, a single, a hit by pitch, and now a 4-pitch walk as runners now on first and second, as now somebody's starting to make their way down into the bullpen. It's Adrian Guzman, who's a position player. He's just going out there to talk to the bullpen and relay the message from Skip. As you can tell, Stroll not in a mental place that he wants to be in, giving up big hits and unable to now throw strikes. Another one missing the zone, so count them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight balls thrown by the right-hander. The 2-0. There it is. He finds home base, if you will. And Pulshin, a very tough hitter to get out. Nowhere to put him with runners on first and second. You got to make a really good pitch on this 2-1 here and not let him take advantage of it. Instead, you miss upstairs again on the verge of, after giving up 2 home runs already in the inning, on the verge of giving up a hit by pitch and 2 straight walks to load the bases. Not the inning that Utica imagined from the guy that they just got from the Hoppers today. So that one does miss downstairs, so Stroll clearly struggling as the now 7th batter of the inning gets on base. Had just the 1 out, and that was the looking strikeout to Webb Little. And it looks like his day is, in fact, going to be done. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. So, pardon the pre-calling out of the right-hander Stroll. He's going to actually stay in this game as there's a right-hander getting loose, but he finds the zone as obviously Jake Barbie's night is done. He was hurt defensively in that last inning, so we will see Jackson Smith now standing in. He was in the non-public game earlier on this afternoon. Didn't do a ton as second pitch to him misses the zone away. Good job to keep the count even. A big chase there on the 1-1 pitch upstairs. Wouldn't have been a strike, but Smith a little bit more eager, trying to make something happen other than letting it. And he's down now quickly, 1-2. Broken bat, back up the middle. Hey, play at the plate instead of the force out. A little miscue throw there from the right-hander. And how about that, Jimmy Latona? Big-time play from a big-time player. Gets the force out at home plate. And a good job there from the former Hopper, Noah Stroll. He has to battle against the comebacker of the broken bat, but he ends up making the play as now, in fact, he will be done as, of course, it being the second visit of the inning, he's going to have to head to the dugout. So we will, in fact, take a quick break and then come right back with some more action. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Mammoths out in front by 3, threatening with the bases loaded and 2 men out. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Ninth batter of the inning to reach the plate, as Ethan Whisker made the last out in the 6th inning with a fly out to center, but another opportunity awaits. Bases loaded. He had 3 hits in the game this morning. 0 for 3, though, so he's due in this game as he looks at ball 1 that misses inside, as we have a new arm out there on the mound, and it's a new face in the USPBL. That would be the right-hander out of Indiana Tech, Seth Sorensen, who has some good numbers to back up his name. 2019 for the Warriors of Indiana Tech, as this one is actually roped fair down the left field line. We'll have to get back to those numbers in a second. Coming in to score with ease is Johnson. Impulsion, rounding third, headed for home is, of course, Jackson Smith. A bases clearing double makes this one 7-1 as Westside has broken it open here in this home half of the 7th. So Whisker, the 9th batter of the inning. We go now to the 10th batter of the inning, and it was the man who started this frame off with a big fly to left in Javon Shelby as he looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. But Ethan Whisker coming through once again. Count it now, 7 RBIs on the day between the 2 combined starts. Second pitch there to Shelby. In there for call and strike 1. 2 outs on the board. If you're Sorensen, you got to get an out here. But back to what I was saying about his time at Indiana Tech with the Warriors. In 2019, made 16 appearances as he drops the bender in for ball 3. Went 9-3 with a 2.39 ERA in 64 innings pitched. He had 1 complete game and combined for 2 shutouts while striking out 66 batters in those 64 innings. So he's got the stuff that you're looking for. As Shelby looks like he went through on the 3-1, but instead he'll, I think, earn the walk, as might have a little miscount there up on the scoreboard. So now it's, I believe, 3-1. So Sorensen with another life. Brings this one home, pops it up. It is over to the right side. Right out is Bonneke with him. Who's going to call it? It's going to be right out to make the catch for the 3rd and final out, but not before the Mammoths can put up 6 in the 7th. So we head to the 8th. They are up by 6. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the top of the 8th inning. We have a pinch hitter coming in for Josh Goulet. He ends his day with an 0 for 2 stint with a strikeout and a ground out to short, as it's going to be Donovan Smith who hits a big fly ball to right field, and Javon Shelby ends up misreading the fly ball. I'd be shocked if they gave it a knock here. Taking a quick look up at the board, seeing what they officially rule this. Still got 5 hits up on the board. That's how many Utica's at right now. So over on second is Smith. The leadoff double, big-time stuff for Utica, even though they got a long ways to go, as it'll be Malik Blaze standing in. Fouls off the first pitch that he sees, but need to mention Cronin, the starter, he's all said and done for the day. 7 innings of work, just under 100 pitches at 99. Allowed just the 1 earned run on the 4 hits. Had just the 1 walk to count him 9 strikeouts. One of the best outings we've seen from Cronin this year, but he has got a world of a lead here in this 8th inning, and he'll be in line for his 2nd victory of the year, barring anything crazy, as Blaze fouls off the 2nd consecutive pitch. He's down 0-2. Trying to drive in his teammate Smith, who just entered this game for Josh Goulet and got the leadoff double, courtesy of Javon Shelby out there in left. The kick, the push, the 0-2, backdoor breaking ball. Polshin's going to have to make a tough play. He's trying to run it down in foul territory, and he cannot, as it gets just out of his reach. So Blaze will stay alive for at least one more pitch. As mentioned, Blaze in just a couple of games so far for the Unicorns. Blaze, the infielder, coming to us from Southern University. He keeps on trying to fight that ball in right field, and if I'm Westside, I'm going to start putting a couple of people a little bit closer to that right side of the diamond. But what an onslaught in the home half of the 7th inning. Count them, 6 runs for the Mammoths. On taking a quick look, 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. But Jake Davis, the left-hander, now in for Westside. Jake Davis, one of the few left-handers on this team, comes to us from Cypress, Texas. Started at Southern Mississippi University, and he actually finished his college career at St. Edwards. But he also played in the Frontier League last year with the Otters of Evansville. Only went 8 1/3 innings, and his ERA was nothing to glimmer at, 9.72. Much better statistics for him as a Westside Woolly Mammoth on the season for Davis. Taking a quick look, 3.77 ERA and 11 relief outings. 14 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed just 6 earned runs on the 13 hits. Ground ball over to the left side. First out is recorded as Blaze will ground out to Webb Little over there at third. Out number 1 on the board as Coley Curry back to the top of the order we go. He had a single in the 6th. Outside of that, pop out to short, and then, of course, a strikeout back in the 4th inning. So Coley standing in for the 4th time tonight. Looks at a breaking ball that misses the zone just a bit inside. So already a great eye up at the plate, which means he's locked in. Lefty-lefty battle. Let's see who has the advantage here. The kick from Davis. The breaking ball, there it goes. Same exact pitch, but just a little bit better control. Is the last one tried to find its way into the strike zone as it crossed the plate. This one easily did. And Coley with a healthy cut just on a healthy pitch. Davis put a little bit more bite onto that last pitch. Unicorns got a long ways to go if they want to come back in this one. Westside trying to get back into 500 territory And if Westside holds on in this one, they will, in fact, tie the season with Utica as Coley Curry on the 1-2 pitch strikes out swinging and missing for the second time tonight. Good enough for out number 2. Davis, first pitch, fastball, hard hit ball into left field. Out there is Johnson. Getting the wave around home is Donovan Smith. A one hop to the plate, just a little bit offline. And this great game of baseball, of course, a game of inches. That one just a hair offline to the left. Nothing much Jackson Smith could do about it. And really not a bad throw from Will Johnson out there left. Just needed to have it be that much better for the final out of the top of the 8th. Instead, the RBI base knock for Erik Jones, his first hit of the evening. And he continues his hitting streak through now 7 games as he's played in the 7 for Utica. So off to a tearing start for the designated hitter out of Davidson College. Jones now with, count him, 12 hits in 25 at-bats to start his tenure as a Unicorn. Elliott, meanwhile, he's free swinging on the 0-1 breaking pitch out of the hand of Davis. He's quickly down 0-2. Davis trying to find his second strikeout victim of the inning as our good buddy JJ, the field general, joins us up here in the press box. Jake Davis trying to get strike 3 on the batter. Elliott would be his first strikeout of the day. At the plate would it be for Elliott, but the breaking ball nowhere close, and you can tell that Davis missed his pitch there. See what he comes home with on the 1-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3. Elliott mad at himself as that was definitely a strike. He ends up having a conversation with Scott Wolendowski, but in a moment like this, you got to go after it as they are done in the 8th. They do get the 1 run, but not going to be enough. They're going to need to put up a 5 spot in the 9th and also hold Westside here in the home half of the 8th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We go to the home half of the 8th inning. Westside out in front by a score of 7-2. It'll be Webb Little, Brandt Broussard, and then the top of the order and Ryan Dobson going up against a guy who I have never seen pitch a baseball game, but we're going to see what he's got. It is the normal everyday shortstop for the Unicorns. He actually played second base in the non-public game this afternoon with the newcomer Malik Blaze joining us. And then coming into the game tonight in a role that we are not used to. We'll see how the art of pitching works here for the right-hander Adrian Guzman. So Webb Little with a good count to start against the position player pitching. Guzman, see if he can fight back on the 2-1 as he misses with the fastball away. Now, obviously, you understand where the Unicorns are at right now. They had the game last night, of course, when they took the close loss to the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, and then they had to play another game this morning. They've played 3 games in the span of 24 hours. You're going to use some pitching, and that's obviously the reason that Adrian Guzman is in here to waste an inning of work and not have your team have to go through any more pitching, as the Unicorns weekend will, in fact, be all said and done up until Sunday, where they will take on the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. So they still have a game to work with this weekend. And not only that, but as the season's going on, the standings getting a lot closer, and that's exactly what we were hoping for, as it was all Utica to start the season. Westside was plummeting at the bottom. At one point, they were about 3-12, 3-13. But I mentioned these two teams at polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Over the last month, Westside 11-4 in 15 games with 108 runs, and then Utica 4-11 in their last 15 with just 56 runs. But the crazy part about all of this is that the teams have the exact same batting average coming into play today, 251 for both teams. Sometimes baseball just gives you those little oddities that you love to see. We'll see if Guzman can deliver a strike. This one, a big fly ball. It'll stay in the park. Question is, will Coley Curry be able to run it down right into the wall, as the catch was fairly easy, but the momentum taking him into the protective netting down that left field line. Loving the route that he took there. Makes the catch not an easy one, but most importantly, Guzman gets his first out as a pitcher here in the USPBL. How about that? So Broussard flies out to left for out number 1. Webb Little over there on the first base bag with the walk. Ryan Dobson, the last candidate that'll probably ground out into a double play, given the fact that he has been on an absolute tear. Coming into play today, 35 hits, which is good for second in the league, and he's got a single, a stolen base, and a 2-run homer already tonight, his first of the season. So obviously a big-time game from the man at the top of the order as the front door breaking ball. How about that right there? And it looks like Adrian Guzman, just in case the Unicorns get into a little bit of a jam later on down the season and it's a close game, don't ever take Adrian Guzman out of the conversation. Dobson, meanwhile, fouling off the third pitch here from Guzman, who is looking very sharp. I was looking on the player page for the Toros baseball team at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Had no pitching experience in college whatsoever. So this is possibly a first for Guzman, but hey, he's one of those guys that you get your name called on. I don't care whether it's you want me to pinch run, you want me to pitch, you want me to do anything for you. Guzman is that kind of player and that kind of person. And who wouldn't want to get an opportunity to pitch at a pro level? So Little over there on first. He's been there for a little bit of time now. Dobson trying to make something happen, down 0-2 in this count. Fastball misses, or excuse me, gets the plate, but Dobson again fouls off another one. Guzman continuing to throw strikes after that leadoff walk there to Little. Count him 5 in a row. This heat index, though, it's gotten up there throughout the day. It was 87 degrees at first pitch. It's dropped down to 82, but that humidity still feels like a factor, at least up here in the booth it does. As the 0-2 to Dobson, he continues to fight 3 straight foul balls. Little's not going anywhere until that ball is put into play. Dobson, a guy who does not strike out all that often. Doesn't have any strikeouts in the contest tonight and didn't have any in the game earlier on today when he went 2 for 3. So in total on the day, Dobson with 4 hits and count him 7 at-bats. The 0-2. Fastball upstairs, taken into right center field. Underneath it is Elliott. Makes the catch on the run for out number 2 as Dobson with a healthy at-bat. Does not end up getting the result that he likes, but overall a tremendous night for him, obviously with his first home run of the season. How about this for a walk-up song to get you in the zone? Some Aerosmith. So here comes Sonny Cortez. He's batting .351 coming into play today. Tremendous stuff. Top of the list for so many categories offensively. Mentioned it earlier on in this game, but why not mention it again? Most hits in the league with 39. Most runs in the league with 33. Tied for first in RBIs with 23. And he's got the best batting average in the league. You can't write this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're just hoping that Sonny Cortez can eventually get out of this league, as that is, of course, the goal for every single one of these players. We want to see them succeed in a USPBL jersey, but the clear-cut reason for this league, it's technically an independent league, but we like to call ourselves more of a developmental league as we get these players up and onwards to affiliated baseball. As the 2-0 in there for called strike 1, we've now had 32 players picked up by professional organizations. Obviously the last one, the Unicorn and Spencer Stockton, going to the Cincinnati Reds organization after throwing 3 strikeouts in the first inning of the All-Star game. As Cortez flares the 2-1 pitch in foul territory near that bullpen for Westside. See what's on tap for tomorrow evening, as it'll be the Westside Woolly Mammoths taking on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It'll be another one of our Firework Fridays. Fireworks on Friday this weekend, presented by the Detroit News, as this one going down in the books as a backwards K. And Adrian Guzman, with his first career professional strikeout, ends the 8th as Westside out in front by 5. We'll see if Utica can get 5 here in this top of the 9th inning. Otherwise, it's time to go home. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the 9th inning we go. Last opportunity for these Utica Unicorns, as it looks as if it's a new face of the USPBL. I take that back. This is actually Dave Martinez, the man who came in to catch for Latona in that previous inning. He getting an opportunity in this last leg of life for the Unicorns. You got right out Campagna coming up behind him. It's Jackson Smith, the catcher, getting something in the contact lens. Hoping he's all right. Got to get that out of there for sure. Dave Martinez up at the plate, trying to get a hit, get some type of rally started. That's the beauty of this game of baseball. No technical clock as we're here in this top of the ninth inning, trying to get some type of run support for Adrian Guzman, who came in the the bottom of the eighth inning and actually did a fairly good job. Allowed the single to Erik Jones, but other than that, 2 strikeouts. Or 1 strikeout. Let's try that again. Ground ball, back up the middle. Jake Davis with an easy play on the 2-1. Easy ground ball for him as the first out of the inning is recorded, and all of a sudden, Utica down to their last 2 outs. Right out on the night, 1 for 3, singled in the 4th inning. Other than that, he's got a strikeout and a ground out to second base. As we approach 9:45, got the teams here tonight with very close records. Unicorns 15-14, Mammoths 14-15. So Westside trying to even that up. I mentioned just a little bit ago, tomorrow night the Mammoths will be in action again, this time against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Our Detroit News Fireworks Spectacular coming up tomorrow night, as well as Fat Tire Friday. Then on Saturday, the Beavers take on the Hoppers, so they'll play some back-to-back action. Motown Night on Saturday, presented by Quantum Forklift. And Denise Davis and the Motor City Sensation Band will be in the house, so bring your ears, if you will. And then on Sunday, Superhero Day, presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. Corns and Beavers will be in action on Sunday, as we're just about halfway through the weekend with that day game. Earlier on today, between these same 2 teams, it was Westside that won it by a score of 9-3. So in total, outscoring these Unicorns today, do the quick math, 16-5. The 1-2 from Jake Davis. Fly ball, left field, should be easy for Coley Curry out there. Or, excuse me, not Coley Curry. Let's try that again. That's Will Johnson. As it's obviously getting a little late here tonight, trying to get through this fairly long day, but hey, as long as a day is long, as long as it is spent at the ballpark, there ain't nothing wrong with that. As Davis looking to close the door. Pitching these last 2 innings won't give him the save, as it'll be Cronin that moves up to 2-0 on the year. Hensley will drop to 0-3, even though he pitched miraculously tonight, as the first pitch to Joe Campagna in there for call and strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. This one swung on and missed from Campagna, and all of a sudden Utica down to their final strike as Jake Davis trying to get the job done. No worry, no issue here in this top half of the 9th inning as they try to win their 15th game of the year and would be their 12th in their last 15. Some tremendous stuff from these Westside Woolly Mammoths as Davis misses the zone upstairs, but not a bad pitch on an 0-2. That's probably where he wanted it, as Campagna trying to give the Unicorns some type of life here in this last frame. Jake Davis with a deep breath. Let's see if he can strike out to end the game. Instead, line drive. Right side. Over there is Brandt Broussard, and he makes the catch on the run for the 3rd and final out. Mammoths take this one by a final score of 7-2, move up to 15-15 on the year. Utica dropping to that exact same number line. And again, it'll be these Mammoths looking to continue that winning ability as they will take on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers tomorrow night, as it'll be another Friday night of fireworks here at the ballpark. And the Mammoths, in the end, take this one by a final score of 7-2. Always fun to call a game on your own, but I'm excited to have my broadcasting partner for the summer, Leo Ortel, back in the booth tomorrow, as he was gone for a while on vacation / out for his unfortunate grandfather's passing. But excited to have him back in the booth tomorrow night. But for this one, it's all said and done. Westside again with the victory, 7-2, courtesy of the long ball. Had, of course, a couple of those tonight. Ryan Dobson with his first of the year, Javon Shelby with his fourth of the year, both in the same inning, and they lead the way for Westside in this one. But again, for Rich Borland, I hope you all had a great time listening in on this one. But for every one of you, we will see you tomorrow. You stay classy, Utica.